yesterday, then had an off-track excursion in that first race. Finished a bit further down the order than he would have liked, and now it seems some more problems for the very popular Nissan Silvia V8 driver from Albury-Wodonga.
And that gap now to your leaders getting ever wider, sitting at 1.5 seconds. So Tracy has either made a little bit of an error somewhere up around turn 7, 8 and 9, or Stephen Chilby is just 100% on the money. He has not looked threatened at all this race. And that gap just getting bigger and bigger every time we cross the line. 7 laps remaining now as we head back in the field to Daniel van der Heyden, leading this little charge for 13th. No, sorry, sitting just behind Morrill in 12th. This is a 4-way battle for 12th position.
So Hayden Burrell there in the Lotus, just on the outside of John Rostevsky in the Mazda RX-8. Makes that move through around to the outside, but runs it wide on the exit, which will allow Rostevsky to come back at him.
Of course, John Rostevsky is the category manager too of this series. So not only is he out there racing all weekend, but he's also got to wrangle these guys to make sure they're on track when they need to be.
Josh down a little bit further up the road in the AU Falcon. Great to have Daniel van der Heyden here, one of the very passionate club-level racing drivers who has done a lot of laps around Winton Motor Raceway in various events and categories over the years in his 6-cylinder Commodore.
This is what the spectators want to see, more Holden v Ford battles this weekend. Of course, some very passionate Holden supporters out there as we turn our attention back to the Lotus v Mazda battle right now, a mid-engine versus a rotary engine.
So Hayden Burrell finally managed to get around John Rostevsky. The Lotus does have a bit more straight-line performance than the rotary-powered Mazda RX-8. We do have literally a bit of everything in the field in terms of engine configurations, and there, unfortunately, is a very slow Corey Gillett. Obviously, he could see the race leaders coming through, so he's done the right thing and just allowed them clear passage.
We look at Merrick Malouf now in 5th, throwing it into that right-hander at turn 11. Now turn 12 on his run down to the line to complete lap 7.
Merrick Malouf and his Prime Finance business sponsoring the Hard Charger Award for the Thunder Sports Cup once again in 2020. Only this year, rather than it being a specific formula for who makes up the most positions, Hard Charger Award is actually going to be at the discretion of us commentators and media crew to make a judgment call.
As if we didn't have enough going on already, Lockie. But this is a great battle between Nathan Rourke and Merrick Malouf. Nathan just tucking in behind the ute there as they approach the sweeper, the big turn 5 left-hander. We'll follow this little battle for a while just to see if Nathan can make anything happen around turn 7, 8, maybe even 9. It is tricky to overtake now, but if he can position the car in the right spot on that run down to turn 10, anything is possible.
He just pinched the front right brake there at turn 7, Nathan Rourke, and that just carted him a bit wide of the ideal racing line and prevented him from being able to get quite close enough to the Prime Finance ute to set up for an overtaking manoeuvre.
He tucks it in behind Merrick Malouf around Bowen's own corner. They'll run down the little back straight. Can he set himself up for a nice little slingshot here around turn 11 and get the run on him through turn 12 down the main straight? Let's follow the action. Merrick Malouf making that car as wide as possible, taking a slightly more defensive line there to stop Nathan having any thoughts of an overtake. 5 laps remaining now as they cross the line again on that run down to turn 1. Merrick Malouf taking a great racing line through there, using all the track on the exit of turn 2. Nathan Rourke has a little look down the inside, thinks better of it, and then locks up the brakes through turn 3. That's not going to help his overtaking chances if he continues to do that. As we look at that Lotus Exige of Hayden Morrill carving his way past Daniel van der Heyden. The Holden not having any answers there for the Lotus.
Interesting to check out the different strengths and weaknesses between the different cars. So the Lotus, with its mid-engine and its very low mass and low centre of gravity, they're always exceptionally quick in the mid-corner. And a corner like turn 5 here at Winton, where it's so fast and committed, is going to suit the Lotus right down to the ground, as are the quick direction changes through turns 7, 8 and 9. But I'll tell you what, the Holden and Ford, they're putting up a bit of a fight, aren't they? Hayden Rell's not just driving straight past those two cars, he's having to work for those positions, as we see. And our race leader, Stephen Chilby, is now starting to come up onto the lapsed traffic.
I think that was Owen Boak in the Mazda MX-5 there, getting out of the way, which is great to see the back markers making sure they're not impeding those front runners, because we want some good, clean racing. It's back to the Lotus Ford battle here. Hayden Morrill up the inside. Has he got the job done? He certainly has. Now in front of Dow. That Ford Falcon could not hold off the Lotus around those corners. As you were just saying, Lockie, some of these big engines are great in a straight line. Some of these smaller, lower cars can just throw it into those corners just a little bit quicker. And the Lotus is certainly one of those.
Another car that's very good through the corners, the car that's currently leading Class B, the diminutive Renault Clio of Damien Hunter. We saw him throwing that car around the track yesterday. We've got a car off. That's John Rostevsky on the approach to the 12th and final corner. The Mazda RX-8 goes for a bit of an excursion.
A little bit of ambition ahead of adhesion there, probably. A little bit hot, and he's gone the long way round. Back to Hayden Morrill. And we could have another Holden v Ford battle here, a little bit behind him between Dow and Van der Hayden.
Indeed, so good to see that there's pretty much battles everywhere on the racetrack at the moment. It's one of the good things about the Thunder Sports, with the variety and the diversity of the machinery. Chances are wherever you are in the motor race, you will have somebody to have a good fun battle against. Here's Daniel Flanagan just ahead of Corey Gillett, who is a lap down. And here's a replay of what happened to John Rostevsky, disappearing backwards off the racetrack in a cloud of dust at turn 12.
Let's hope the flames from that exhaust don't spark another grass fire. The last thing we need now with 3 laps remaining is a safety car. Back to Merrick Malouf, and Nathan Rourke sending it up the inside of turn 3.
Getting it all wrong though, throwing it off the road.
Just a little bit too quick there on the inside. Couldn't pull it up in time, and unfortunately, I think that's going to be his battle with Merrick Malouf over.
Just a bit too deep under brakes, wasn't he? And the problem there is that he was on the dirty side of the racetrack. Here's another look at it.
Gets it way too hot there and just can't pull it up.
You could see the understeer, couldn't you? He had all of the steering lock wound on, but the car just wasn't going to turn.
That was going in one direction, Lockie, in one direction only. Well, as we head back to Flanagan in that Goodyear Phillip HSV GTS, trying to hold off the Sylvia of Corey Gillett. Now, of course, Corey was one of the big protagonists last year in this series. A few battles with Mark Tracy. So it's a shame to see him a little bit further down the order.
Importantly, though, at least he's going to get classified as a finisher, and at least he's going to bank some points out of this race. Much better outcome than a DNF. So our race leader, Stephen Chilby, now on his 12th and final lap. It's been another classy performance, hasn't it, from the Austruck driver. 3.5 seconds, his margin back to Mark Tracy.
He has not set a foot wrong for this entire race. Deserves the win. Mark Tracy had some early opportunities, but just couldn't get the job done. Stephen positioned that car perfectly on track, and it's got some great straight line speed as well. As we watch the approach into turn 11 now, one more corner to negotiate, and this race is all his. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for your race winner. It is Stephen Chilby. The checkered flag is out. Stephen Chilby, winner of Thunder Sports. Race 2, closely followed by Tracy in second. Congratulations to Stephen Chilby, a fantastic race. Stephen Chilby, well done. Hats off to you. As we look at John Rastevsky in the Mazda RX-8 again, heading all over the place. I think he'll be pretty disappointed with the way he's tackled turns 11 and 12 there. Another cracker of a race here at the Australian Motor Racing Series, round 1 at Winton. There he is, Stephen Shilby, your Thunder Sports Race 2 winner. Controlled it from start to finish. Mark Tracy there just behind him. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed at how his race played out. But no matter what he did, he just didn't have the answers to get past Shilby in those early laps. So let's take a look at how that race played out. Stephen Shilby, your winner, followed by Mark Tracy, Samuel Collins in 3rd, Brett Mitchell 4th, Merrick Maloof, Nathan Rourke, Daniel Flanagan in 7th, Brent Edwards in 8th, Damien Hunter in that Renault Clio in 9th, and Hayden Morrill in 10th. Josh Dow, Daniel Vander Hayden, Owen Boak, Jackson Wright, John Rastevsky, and Corey Gillette round out the top 16. That was a fantastic race from Stephen Shilby. Ladies and gentlemen, as he comes round, put your hands together because he did not set a foot wrong. And this afternoon, I think it's going to be Mark Tracy out for some serious redemption. Let's take a look at how that race unfolded. So it was Tracy and Shilby side by side into turn 1. Shilby got the inside line, which is exactly where you need to position the car. And it was his race from there on. As we take a look back through everyone making it cleanly through turns 1 and 2, that Derek Maloof, some sideways action there from Bob Brewer. This was a great battle between Maloof and Mitchell. Mitchell just throwing it up the inside of turn 1 and disappearing into the sunset. And then that Lotus Exige finding the long way around. It's not a purpose-built off-road car. That definitely slowed him down. Back behind the RX-8 of John Rastevsky, who then would go a little bit wider later on. But Hayden Morrill did a great job up the inside of that Commodore around turn 11. And he just had the tail lights of the BA Falcon as we see John Rastevsky in that RX-8 getting very, very wide on the entry to turn 12. Great battle between Merrick Maloof and Nathan Rourke. Nathan Rourke sending it in way too hot in turn 3, locking it up, and then a lot of understeer just sent him straight off. Unfortunately, that was his race done. Merrick Maloof just marched away. But this is the man of the hour, your Race 2 Thunder Sports winner, Stephen Shilby. From start to finish, a fantastic race. He would have been happy to see the checkered flag, though. You never feel comfortable no matter how big your lead is. This is motorsport, and the slightest thing, the smallest lapse in concentration, and you can suddenly find yourself back in amongst all the action as we see John Rastevsky again having one of those moments. So well done, Stephen Shilby. Let's go down to Kylie. She's in pit lane with our race winner.
Sorry, guys. Just chatting here on the podium. Stephen Shilby, what an amazing effort. You make it look effortless out there.
Oh, it's certainly not effortless. It's hard work out there, very hot, very demanding. But yeah, the car's hooked up well, plenty of grip on the track, and just fortunate enough to keep everything tidy and come away with the win, yeah. Very pleased.
She's a beast of a machine. What's it like? What's she like to race out there?
Oh, it's very different. Yeah, it takes a little bit to get used to, but once you get the hang of it, it's a bunch of fun to drive, yeah. It's awesome.
Terrific. Well, good luck. I think we've got our Class B winner here ready to go as he gets some of his gear off. How hot and tough was the racing out there?
Yeah, it was pretty warm out there today, that's for sure.
So what I love about this class is the mini battles that you see all over the place. Is that for you? Is that what you love about it?
Yeah, I just love the camaraderie between everyone. You know, everyone jumps in and gives everyone a hand. It's a great, you know, like grassroots sort of category racing on a national stage at the moment. So, yeah, it's really good.
And what is the racing like for you to be out there?
It's awesome. I reckon I'm having probably the best fun out there in a little buzz box and, you know, sticking it to some of the bigger guys in the A-class. So, no, we're having an absolute ball. So.
Talk us through your little buzz box. She looks all right. She packs a mean punch out there.
Yeah, well, it's pretty well a standard engine Clio. We spent a lot of time developing suspension and taking weight out of the car and, yeah, put a bit of aero on it over Christmas, gave it a bit of a birthday, put it on a diet, and yeah, here we are. So we've gone 3 seconds a lap faster since last time we brought it out last year, just with the development over Christmas. So definitely heading in the right direction, which is good.
Well, terrific. Great to see Class A and Class B out there fighting for it. You got the, geez, you couldn't think of two more contrasting categories, could you? Cars side by side. But well done. Enjoy the racing and hopefully we see you a bit later on.
No worries. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thunder Sports category never fails to disappoint. As our miniature race cars presented by Motorsport TV head to the track on their formation lap. Now, the way the miniature race cars will take to the grid, they actually reverse their order for each race. So you've got the quicker cars starting at the back, which certainly makes for some entertaining racing. This will be their third race of the weekend. And look at that beautiful mini muscle car of Gary Roberts. As we take a look at the starting grid for this race, Pascal Nietzner in position number 1. Gary Roberts in that fantastic HQ Coupe in second. David Hall's in third. Matthew Thewlis in fourth. BJ Lemon, Blake Purdy, fifth and sixth. Chad Cotton, David Brewer, Peter Klein and Craig White are your 10 starters for today. So as they bunch up, heading to turn 11, there was quite a lot of DNFs and some mechanical failures yesterday. So I thought I saw Chad Cotton's, just read out Chad Cotton's name on the grid. I'm not sure if he's actually out there. You can see Craig White's car there, because I believe Chad had an engine malfunction. Craig had an axle blowout. And Cotton actually gave him his axle to race. So here we go, down the main straight, Motorsport TV miniature race cars, race number 3. We look for the light to go out. We are racing here at Winton. And it is White into second already. Third down the inside into turn 1. As all cars make it cleanly through turns 1 and 2, it is Roberts in the mini muscle car that leads into turn 3, with Craig White diving up the inside into second now. Of course, he was the 2018-19 champion, so he is all about the win here. As we watch a few cars getting wide, the number 69 there of Peter Griffiths, not to be misrepresented by Peter Griffin from the Family Guy. But it is still Gary Roberts in that HQ Coupe that leads ahead of Craig White, and BJ Lemon tucked in there in third position. Around turn 8 and 9 they go now on the little run down to Bowen's own corner, turn 10. The lead unchanged as BJ Lemon looks to lunge down the inside of Craig White and gets the job done as they now enter the back straight. Craig White fighting back on the outside, but Lemon's going to have the run on the inside there. No doing for Craig White. He's going to have to position the car. Oh, has a think about going up the inside of turn 12. No, tucks it back in behind. Oh, as we've got a little bit of contact there. Peter Griffiths getting turned around as we cross the line for the beginning of lap 2. Craig White now up the inside into turn 1. Settles back into position 2, through turn 2. Up the hill on the run down to turn 3. Has a look on the inside, late on the brakes, and gets the job done on Gary Roberts. Can't make that car wide enough. And Craig White says, thank you very much, I'll take first. As we look at that little replay, Peter Griffiths ends up facing the wrong way. Was doing a fantastic job up until that point, and unfortunately now is playing a serious game of catch-up. As we are now under yellow flags, we've got the safety car out. There's been an incident. There's now no overtaking, and we're going to have to form up behind the safety car. Take a little bit of a look to see what's happened. But it looks like your race leader might have, no, he's still there. Have a look out the windows. We're looking at the beautiful little HQ coupe of Gary Roberts, that mini muscle car. There are 3 categories of cars. That's one of them, the mini muscle car. You've also got the ARC cars powered by the Yamaha motorcycle engines, and then the future cars, or the future buses, as they're also known, powered by the Hayabusa engines. So still under yellow flag. It's a shame, that was just starting to heat up. There is your race leader, Craig White, who did very well to get an early jump off the line. Found himself in 3rd position quite quickly. So this is how he got the job done on Gary Roberts. On the run up the hill into turn 3, shows him the nose, hard on the brakes, dives down the inside. Gary Roberts not really too defensive there. I don't want to say let Craig White pass, but certainly didn't put up too much of a fight. Probably doesn't want to ding the body of that beautiful mini muscle car. But Craig White says thank you very much. As I mentioned quickly earlier on, he's racing thanks to Chad Cotton lending him an axle. So Chad Cotton's race weekend was done yesterday when he did that. So a fantastic sportsman-like showing there, and that's what we like to see about this grassroots racing, is that everyone's out there to help each other. We want to see as many cars out on the grid as possible, and the camaraderie around the pits is at another level. As the cars continue up around turns 7, 8 now, still behind safety car. Still unsure of what triggered that safety car. Kylie might have more for us. Of course, she's going to be in the pits all day today, running around in that 30-degree heat. As we take a look now at cars trying to keep temperature in those tyres. This is not where they want to be. Parts of the cars are cooling down, tyre temperatures are getting lost, other parts are heating up because they're not getting the air cooling them down as they should. So your current order, we've got Craig White in 1st position. Blake Purdy in that fantastic ARC orange Nissan Altima with its Nippy's livery in 2nd position. Gary Roberts, the mini muscle car in 3rd. BJ Lemon in 4th. Watch him on the jump. He's definitely going to be hunting a podium. Brewer, Halls, Klein, and Griffiths, who now, thanks to the safety car, has caught back up. And we are racing again as the green flags wave. And it's going to be Craig White leading the charge into turn 1. Purdy thinks about showing him the nose and into turn 1, thinks better of it, backs off. But BJ Lemon, as I said, got the early jump on Roberts and is already into position 3. Charge back down through turn 3 now. Those new curbs having every inch of them used on the exit of turn 3, the entry of turn 4 and exit of turn 4, which is allowing them to carry a lot more speed into turn 5, the sweeper, which has definitely caught a few cars out this weekend. As we look at your race leader, Craig White, definitely now in control of this race. The 2018 and 19 champion finished 2nd in race 1 yesterday, and then, as I said, had that DNF in race 2. Thanks to a blown axle. But he's not letting that get the better of him. Lap 4 of 10 now. 6.5 laps remaining. The gap to Purdy now just winding a little bit. That Nissan Altima. Can he close the gap here around turn 11? Kylie, what have you got for us in pit lane?
Well, look, it was car 27, I'm led to believe, that had a little bit of a spill just on the turn up there, just before the main straight in the gravel trap. Was there for a little while. I just saw him putter through, a little bit of gravel and dirt and debris flying off as he went through. But he's back in the back paddock, not competing, obviously, but that was what the hold-up was.
Thank you, Kylie. That's a real shame for Matthew Thewlis. He had a great day yesterday, finishing 5th in race 1 and 3rd in race 2. Definitely feeling competitive this weekend. He'll be gutted. As we look now, Gary Roberts, Peter Griffiths. Oh, is Peter going to have a look down the inside of turn 3? Thinks about it. Thinks better of it. And Brewer just behind him, lining up Peter as well. And Halls, this 4-way battle, separated by less than a second. Gary Roberts in the mini muscle car leading the charge here. Ups through turn 6 and 7 now. Around the outside goes Brewer, thinks better of it, tucks back inside. Gary Roberts making that car very wide. Peter Griffiths has a think about the inside line there. Doesn't, tucks back in behind. David Hall's doing very well there too in that ARC Commodore. Very much in contention here. Around Bowen's own corner on the run down now to turn 11. Griffiths right up behind Roberts. Will he have a look into turn 11? He shows him the nose late on the brakes, inside line, well done. Again, Gary not ultra defensive there. Probably thinks better of it. Lets Peter run through. As they cross the line now, 5 laps remaining. It is Roberts behind Griffiths into turn 1. Will Gary try and play catch-up, or is he just going to settle there? Gary can't rest on his laurels. He's got Halls right behind him. Looks in the mirror, he's going to see a sea of grey. But well done to Griffiths as we watch him get the job done again into turn 11, just late on the brakes. Inside line. Gary definitely could have had that car moved over a little bit, giving him a little bit more of a challenge, but Peter says thank you. I'll take 4th spot. As we look back at Halls now. On the charge to try and hunt down Griffiths, who is just behind. That little grey ARC Commodore, powered by Yamaha. These things are so great to watch on track. If you've never seen the inside of these cars, the drivers sit with one leg either side of the steering column. They're driven a little bit like a go-kart, left foot and right foot, except they've got a shell and a roll cage. Oh, as we see someone entering the pits, I believe that was Brewer. So another car not finishing, unfortunately, which is such a shame. As we look back at Gary Roberts in 5th position. Back to your leader, Craig White. Over the hill down to turn 3. With Purdy just behind him, that gap now just under 2 seconds. Can Blake Purdy and that Nissan Altima close the gap? Nippies will be loving that. Fantastic livery. Craig White and that future Bussa, Hayabusa powered chassis, ACT spray seeding, sprayed down the side of the car. He's had a fantastic weekend. If it wasn't for that axle blowing last race, he would have been right up there as well. 2nd in race 1. He'll be wanting that race win today more than ever. So it is White over Purdy and Lemon a further 7 seconds behind. Hopefully Purdy's got some answers for him. 3.5 laps remaining now. Blake Purdy pushing that car as hard as he can. He was first in practice too, and then just struggling for a little bit of speed here, struggling to stick with White. So it is Yamaha versus Hayabusa. And it looks like Hayabusa's just got a little bit more power when it matters. Craig White now crossing the line, 3 laps remaining, throws it into turn 1. Right into turn 2, using all the track. Fantastic racing line. That gap now to Purdy, 2.5 seconds. So it doesn't look like Blake's gonna have any answers. He's running out of time. BJ Lemon in 3rd. The crowd willing on Purdy, hoping he can close this gap with just 2.5 laps remaining. But fair dues to Craig White. He has controlled this race superbly. Once he got into first position, he has not put a foot wrong. Now, whether you struggle to get an overtaking position done, you just want to find yourself positioned right behind the car in front, put on as much pressure as you can, try and force them into a mistake. And unfortunately, no one's forcing Craig White to do anything at this point apart from run the race the way he wants to run it. In control around Bowen's own corner. That little run down now to turn 11. There will be 2 laps remaining when he crosses the line. As we watch him cleanly through turn 11. Now turn 12, that final corner. So important to get the exit right of that, the run down the main straight. Let's have a look at the gap now with 2 laps remaining. It is Craig White, your race leader, with Blake Purdy behind him. The gap now 2.2 seconds, so Purdy able to close it a little bit, but with 2 laps remaining, is it too little, too late? So again, White will be able to see Purdy from time to time in those mirrors, but not looming too large. Over the new curbs, turn 4, they go. Craig White now into the big turn 5 left-hand sweeper. To the top end of the track, up around turn 6. A wide entry into turn 7, cuts it in right. Hard on the brakes to turn 8. Turns 8 and 9, some of the sharpest corners on this track. Of course, Winton, 3 kilometres long, 12 corners. It's not the fastest track, thanks to all these tight corners. So it's important to get those corner entry speeds right, and then the corner exit speed, get the power down correctly. You don't want to be dropping a wheel off the tarmac or getting any wheel spin. And Craig White giving us all a Racing 101 lesson here of how it's done. Setting the fastest lap to this race of a 1:32.2. It is the final lap. The checkered flag is out. This is your race winner. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Craig White, followed by Blake Purdy. Didn't quite have the answers today, but a stellar race from Craig White. You've got to take your hats off to him. A beautiful passing manoeuvre into turn 3 to get into that top position, and from there he didn't look back. Didn't look like he was going to lose that race. Blake Purdy threw everything he had at it, but just didn't quite have the same speed. That ARC against the future Busa, Yamaha versus Hayabusa. Will that storyline continue into race 4? We're going to be looking forward to that battle. BJ Lemon crosses the line in 3rd. Peter Griffiths in 4th. Halls in 5th. Great to see such a good crowd out here joining us at Winton for these fantastic races. This is what it's all about. The sunshine, the atmosphere, the sounds. The race winner, Craig White, what a job. And there goes that mini muscle car of Gary Roberts. I can't talk that up enough. That beautiful HQ. The Holden fans will be loving it. Your race winner, Craig White. The Motorsport TV Miniature Race Cars, Race 3. Let's take a look at those race results. Once again, it was Craig White in the ACT spray seeding car number 1. Number 2, Blake Purdy. Number 3, VJ Lemon. Number 4, Peter Griffiths. Number 5, David Halls. And number 6, Gary Roberts, with a couple of DNFs in there as well. I'm sure Kylie's gonna have the lowdown on that. But let's take a look at how this race played out. Of course, rolling start, Gary Roberts, fantastic jump off the line. But it was Craig White from back of the pack that suddenly found himself in 3rd position already around turn 1. So just as good a jump as Gary. Gary controlled the race at the start. And running wide there was BJ Lemon, and I think that allowed Craig just to slip up the inside. BJ Lemon, though, not letting Craig have it all his way, fighting back. And it was a great little podium battle till this moment where Craig White gives him a little nudge, says, I'm here, and a little further behind him, Peter Griffiths gets all turned around. And this was the manoeuvre that got the job done for Craig. Into turn 3, down the inside, late braking, and from there on, it was all Craig's race. Blake Purdy stuck with him as long as he could, thought about showing him the nose into turn 1, thought better of it. That was probably his only chance to get past, because from there on in, Craig just walked away. Gary Roberts in that HQ tried to hold off a few of the cars behind him as we look at Peter Griffiths and David Halls. This was the manoeuvre from Peter into turn 11. Again, Gary not being too defensive there. Says you can have that, Peter. But it was all about this man, Craig White. Blake Purdy just didn't quite have the speed, didn't have the answers, and would watch that white and green livery just disappear into the sunset, unfortunately. And a beautifully controlled and run race there from Craig White. To see the checkered flag in his first race win of the weekend. Blake Purdy settling for 2nd spot. And as we look at our race winner, that was the highlights. Let's go down to Kylie in the pits.
We're catching up with the race winner, Craig White. Didn't really look challenged, but I reckon she was pretty hard work out there.
Yeah, it's getting hot and the track's coming on. It's nice and sticky, so the cars are gripping up and it's a bit of hard work to keep them on the road. But no, we held up well and yeah, it was good. It's a good race.
Now, Craig, just to even get you out on the grid this morning, there was a bit of a story behind getting you fired up and ready to go.
Yeah, race 2 yesterday, I broke my first axle in 2.5 years. And Chad actually broke his motor, so he was kind enough, instead of doing an engine swap, which we could have done, he decided to bail out and we took the axle out of his car and put it in mine. So a big shout out to Chad, mate. It's a big thing to do, so appreciate it a lot.
So almost this race win dedicated to Chad, who couldn't compete today.
Yeah, the next 2 will be as well as this one. The next 2 will be as well. So yeah, we'll do our best.
Good on you, Craig. Great to see you with that race win. I'll see if I can catch up with Blake. 2nd in that race. Blake Purdy, nice job. You just couldn't quite get him. He's a hard man to catch, isn't he?
Yeah, it's definitely very hot out there. But, you know, I still kept my same speed. Yeah, he just pulled around the first lap after the safety car. So, yeah, I couldn't catch him after that. So, but other than that, it was a good race.
Terrific. Great race. Thank you. And BJ Lemon, our 3rd place getter. He's already got the helmet off. I love it when you drivers do the right thing and prepare for these interviews for me. Congratulations, 3rd in that race. Very hard to pick those boys back in the end, but you kept your position.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy. First time out in the car, so I can't complain. They're just too quick. I'm happy with 3rd.
So what's your impression first time out?
Oh, they're beautiful cars to drive. I love it. So much grip, so much power out of the corner, torque. Yeah, perfect.
Terrific. Well, there you go, Luke. We've had a good bit of a taste of the action, but of course, the day has only just begun, really.
It certainly has, Kyle. Great job down there too, by the way. I don't envy you today. It's going to be 34 here at Winton, and you've got to run around in the pits up and down there cutting laps, so I definitely don't envy you. Make sure you stay hydrated And thank you to everyone for joining us for this morning's action here at Winton Raceway. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back at 12:30. Don't forget to jump on the AMRS Facebook page for the live stream if you're not already there. And yeah, there's sure to be a lot more action this afternoon. We've got Thunder Sports, Motorsport TV, miniature race cars, and of course, the Pro Max Performance Exhaust Muscle Car Series coming your way later on this afternoon. So we'll see you back here at 12:30.